Everybody, I hope you're all doing well. I'm currently on a back road driving to the top of this mountain. And folks, it's snowing. Temperature 28 degrees right now. And everything up here is coated in ice. For this adventure, folks, we'll be staying in the truck, a good old-fashioned truck camp. Already, the weather forecast, completely wrong. The forecast for today was sunny, windy, chilly, late tonight, snow. That certainly is not what we're getting here. Yes, everybody, it's snowing. That makes me so happy, I'm so excited. This is not our first snowfall. In fact, it is our second. The first snowfall took place during Hurricane Ian. The mountaintops got snow, so that was back in September. It is October 18th right now. I'm coming up here to check and make sure that I can actually make it up this road, and I definitely can. My plan is to back the truck in right over here. Look at that. It's snowing, everybody. It is 23 degrees here. Here in a minute, I'll get out the thermometer, I'll set that up so you all can see that, see the temperature. But, for now, I need some gloves and I need a hat. It's funny. Last week, my wife and I, we went off the mountain. Look at that coming down. We went off the mountain to see my son, who's at college. And it was like 83 degrees there. We come back home here to the mountains and it's snowing. Gloves on, mask on. And for now, I'm going to use this around my neck to block that draft. And the final piece of the puzzle here, the hat. That is so much better. The first thing that I'm going to do is set up my cell phone booster. At the moment, I have no service, so I'm going to set this up and see if it makes any sort of improvement. That way I can stay in touch with Susie, just in case she needs me. So far, when it comes to this device, I've been impressed with it. It most certainly works. This will be a really good test for the Wii Boost. With this device, it's designed to be permanently attached to your vehicle, but that's not how I'm going to use it. I put it up, I take it down. Sometimes it's in the truck, sometimes it's at the cabin. It's all hooked up, powered up. Let's see. And folks, we have service. We have 2 bars of 4G, whereas we had absolutely no service when we first got here. Let's see if I can send Susie a message. Hey hun, comma, I hope you're doing well, period. I made it here, and guess what, semicolon, it's snowing. Sent. That is freaking awesome. Hopefully you can see there, the bars up at the top. Wow. It's all the way up to 4 bars now. Now I need to think about what I'm going to do, what I'm going to set up here. It's interesting, as I was coming up the mountain, it was incredibly windy. So windy, in fact, I didn't want to set up the tripod, but now that I'm here, the winds really aren't that strong. They are coming through the woods, pretty light. I've camped in this location before, once, maybe twice. It's been a long time, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. Something is different about this place, and it's down here at the beginning of the road. You can see here that someone put up these metal posts, one on each side. I do not know what this means. I don't know if that means don't bring your vehicle in here. I don't know if that means caution because of the rocks. I just don't know. Normally in a national forest, at least in my area, they mean caution. For an example, it might be a soft spot in the road, something like that. I can tell by the tracks on the ground that other vehicles have been here, so I'm going to assume that it's okay. In the end, I'm not causing any damage or anything like that, so it should be fine. But if I have to move, I will. I've looked around this area. It's in great shape, it really is. There's no garbage, it's beautiful. There's no firewood, like at all. There's nothing. I could find a few twigs, but that's about it. There's another fire pit down here, and it looks like people tried to burn some green wood, and of course, it didn't work. I was hoping to have a fire today, or tonight, but I don't think that's going to happen. The thing is this, going off of the mountain from this point is not easy. We have a cliff over here, that's all fielded. Over here, the forest is too thick. I'm not giving up yet, but it's not looking good. So I'm gonna take a minute and walk around and see what I can find, if anything. I'm going to take a second here and get the truck organized for the evening. Might as well get that done and out of the way. For tonight's adventure, 0 degree Carinthia bag. Military quality, super warm, excellent product. Yeah, for the most part, that's it. Just had to get some things organized. My truck setup here is super simple. There's no frills, no real luxuries to it other than a table and some shelves that I made. That's how I like it. I like it very simple. With my truck, it has to be a work truck. If I need to do the work that I want to do and also use this for truck camping at the same time. So again, just very, very simple. Talking about work, I've got 2 chainsaws under here, all sorts of gear, all sorts of equipment. Being inside of the truck is really nice. Getting out of that wind, it's really not that windy, but there's like this breeze coming through the trees and it's just circulating. You might have been able to see that with the clouds there, but it's just circulating. I thought about putting up the tarp, but I really don't see a reason for doing so. Because the wind is just circulating, I don't think it really matters. It is coffee time, everyone. Coffee time. It's nice to be around this stove. That little bit of heat, it's sweet. As you saw there, I had the butane canister inside of my jacket. That's because butane really doesn't run well when it's really cold, so I heated it up. I do have propane with me, but I'm going to save that for my Mr. Buddy heater. I love my buddy, you know what I mean? Nice and cold, it's snowing, very, very lightly, but it is snowing. To give you all an idea of just how cold it is, this water drop fell just a moment ago when I was filling up the kettle. Look at that, frozen solid. Here we go, some hot coffee on a very cold evening. Cheers, my friends, cheers. Oh man. It's snowing a little bit. Just enough right now to begin covering the ground here. This is perfect. Tell you what, I need to get the thermometer out and get that put up so we can see just how cold it is. I'll hop in the truck, dig it out, I'll bring you all back in just a minute. Here's the thermometer. Everything is so much harder to do when your hands are cold, right? Even touching this for a minute will throw it off. So, I have some cordage here. I'm gonna go ahead and tie this up in a tree. That way, we can get an accurate reading. Here in a few seconds, we'll turn it on and we'll see what the temperature is. Because I've been handling it, it'll show that it's warmer than it really is outside. So it needs to cool off for a second. So might as well have some coffee. Cheers, everyone, cheers. While we're waiting on that, let's walk down here to the road. Remember when we came in, there was those large puddles. Let's check on those and then compare them tomorrow morning. Up here in the clouds, the mountain's covered in ice. The ground is hard as a rock. It is frozen. All right, everybody. Let's check the temperature. So it's connected to my phone via Bluetooth. All I have to do is turn it on. We'll hit the start button and we'll see what it's reading. So right now, 25 degrees and dropping. So it's still warm for being inside of that backpack, so it's not accurate. But we know for a fact that it's below 25 degrees. Here in a little bit, we'll come back and check on it. Look at it come down. Woo! Just a quick little shower. I love it. Because it's snowing, I think I'm going to hop inside of the truck so I can stay dry. That is important when it's this cold. Wow. Woo! Now I'm inside of the truck, out of the wind, out of the snow. I have my friends, I have some coffee, And here in a second, we'll get some heat going. I had this idea some time back. Maybe last year or so, I purchased this. This is a lantern from Soto. It runs on butane. Check this thing out. Pretty cool. I noticed while using this last year, it puts out a ton of heat. And I was thinking, we might be able to use this inside of the truck for supplemental heat as well, in addition to the heater buddy. So here in a second, I'll fire this up. But in truth, inside of the truck here, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I'm pretty warm. Wintertime camping is all about layering. It's all about your clothes. If you have the right clothes, the right layers, you can stay warm, and it's not a big deal. If you have the wrong layers for the conditions, you'll be miserable. I don't want you all to think for a second that I'm suffering back here, because I'm not. I have a secret weapon. It's a heating pad. It's a fairly good size heating pad, and I have it wrapped around my feet, and it is glorious. When you're truck camping, it doesn't have to be miserable. Not at all. Enough talk, let's fire this up. Okay, so the legs, they pop out like this. The fuel canister goes on like that and locks into place. It puts off so much heat. It's amazing, actually. Since we have this going and it's warming up in here, we might as well talk a little bit longer, a little bit further. Sometime back, I did an episode about the Light Fighter Dragoon tent, which was a military-style 8-person tent with a super high price tag. $4,300. So in the episode, I discussed the tent because, first off, it looks crazy. I love the looks of that tent. Now, of course, I can't afford to buy it. I wouldn't buy it. Even if I had the money, I wouldn't do it. $4,300 for that tent is just insane, and I'm not going to spend that much money for a tent. But after I put up that episode, I heard from Light Fighter. And folks, I have a Dragoon tent on the way. They are going to send me a review unit. Now, of course, I don't get to keep it. It has to go back to them. I'm going to test it out. I'm going to share with you all my thoughts on it. I'm going to share the good and the bad. And we'll take a look at it together. I have no idea what to expect from this tent. The company did update their website. That was one of the complaints that I had. I actually had 2 complaints besides the price, right? First off, the pictures on the site were trash. They looked funny. It looked like really bad Photoshop. There was like some pixelated helicopters flying around. And also, there wasn't very much information concerning that tent. Well, the company updated the website. There's new pictures on there. Also, they have all the information concerning the materials. And the materials themselves are quite impressive. I believe the fly is a 70 denier ripstop nylon. That's pretty high. Considering that like a Hellerberg tent, I believe the black label is a 40 denier. So this is a 70. Don't put too much weight between that comparison there because it doesn't mean a whole lot. Just because you have a higher denier of material doesn't mean the overall quality of a tent is better. We have that coming in soon. And I cannot wait to get it out, to test it out with you all. That is going to be awesome. It will. So, yeah. $4,300. I can't help but laugh about it because that's such a high price tag. It's funny, everyone. I received so many emails, so many messages about that tent. Some people, they can handle the price. And then again, some people were raging off. The way that I see it is like this. Not every single product out on the market is meant for everyone. It's no different than like a luxury car, a sports car. Some things simply do not apply for some people. Just how it goes, right? Some people have the extra money and can afford such things. Good for them. Individuals like myself can't afford it. That's okay too. In the end, we'll just take a look at the tent. We'll discuss who that tent is for. We will ask Light Fighter a bunch of questions about that tent. One thing I did find out is that the tent itself is being used within military circles, and it is awaiting an NSN number, a national stock number, or NATO stock number. It's both. I'll tell you more about that tent in a preview coming up. I'm not going to geek out too much about it right now, but I could. Trust me, I could. I do like gear, that's for sure. It's now 6:30, it's about to get dark. Let's go ahead and check the temperature real quick. One more time, we'll do it before it gets dark here. So it is reading 22.5 degrees. Dinner tonight, Mountain House, lasagna with meat sauce. Oh yeah. When I was packing up for this trip, I was thinking about what I wanted to make, and I decided to go easy. I just did not feel like cooking. It's funny, there's a handful of people who harp on me about eating freeze-dried meals, even though they're really not that bad for you. They're better than most things in the grocery store. It's funny, like my YouTube buddies and I, we have a good time laughing about the individuals who get so upset about eating these things. It's pretty funny. I'm not going to drop any names here, but a friend of mine made a great point. Don't these people cook at home? Isn't it nice to like go out and not cook for once? I agree 100%. Sometimes you just don't want to cook. Sometimes you want to make it easy. Plus, you can hold this. Oh yeah. As far as the temperature goes, outside it's around 20 degrees. Inside, I'm not entirely sure, but it's not terrible. It's not too cold. With this trip here, for me, this is just a way to get like acclimated. Like I mentioned before, last week, 83. This week, 20. So, yeah, I better get used to it. Better get accustomed to it. Winter is coming. All in all, I'm ready. I am ready. Here we go. It's been a long time since I've had a Mountain House meal. Still good. It's not bad at all. No artificial preservatives, no artificial flavors, no artificial colors. Finding something in the grocery store without those three, almost impossible. Plus, when I get done with this, all I have to do is just wipe down my spoon and I'm done. That's the cleanup. Here with the channel, because I have so many videos and the channel's as big as it is, I receive thousands and thousands of comments per day, so it's impossible to go through and answer them all. I do go through and I read them though, and anytime that I see something interesting that I could bring up and talk about, I do. So recently, I put up a stealth camping adventure. So one of the comments was about the importance of staying on trail. Now this individual, I'm assuming, is from outside of the United States. Here in the US, you're actually encouraged to go off trail. Oftentimes in smaller countries, you're not permitted to do so. The reasons for that are pretty simple. There's too many people and the areas are too small. That's not the case in the United States. Here in the US, if you want to go off trail, you can do so, and you can camp, you can hike, you can do just about anything that you want to. It's called dispersed camping, and it's available in most states here. Now, of course, you have to check with the local regulations and whatnot. Every location is going to be different, so you have to take the time, you have to research, check out the regulations and whatnot. In this country, off-trail hiking is so popular, so common, that you can receive training at most outfitters. For an example, REI does all sorts of off-trail related education, map reading, compass reading, so on and so forth. For now, everyone, just gonna take it easy. Get ready for bed here in a little bit. before I do, I thought I would tell you all a traveling tale. As some of you know, I've traveled the country, gosh, I don't know, more times than I can count, from one end to the other. When I was younger, I was driving across the country. I was coming back from the West Coast, and it was late at night. I stopped at a rest area, and I was in Nebraska. So this was during the summer. It was hot. I was actually driving a rental truck, like a U-Haul sort of thing. The biggest piece of of all time. Anyways, instead of sleeping in the cab, I opened up the back, hopped in, there was a mattress in there. After maybe 30, 40 minutes, I started seeing some flashes from like underneath the door because like the roll door wouldn't latch on the inside. That was a little sketchy, but it worked out. Anyway, so I see these flashes, I start hearing some thunder. Within 20 minutes, it is like this knockdown thunderstorm. Super heavy rain, lots of hail, like really strong winds. In the morning, I went to the rest area, did my business, got some coffee, and I was talking to a truck driver. And he informed me that there was a large tornado that came through the area like 2 miles away. Super, super lucky. That was before we had like smartphones and stuff like that. So there was no way to know that a tornado was on the ground or coming through unless you were like listening to the radio or something. But that's pretty crazy. As I drove out of there that morning, there was just like trees and damage everywhere. Whenever you see like the damage that a tornado can do, it's really surreal and kind of scary all at the same time. Like it's just so much destruction. But, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. When it comes to a heater buddy, I'm not going to talk about using these safely inside of a vehicle. That topic has been beaten to death on just about every single channel. I've done it myself many, many times. Yes, these are safe. There's a reason why everybody uses these, so I'm not going to talk about it. My friends, it's around 11 o'clock. It's time for me to turn in. I've had a good evening. I've been reading a book, sitting next to my heater buddy. Now it's time to turn in. I'm going to shut off the stove, hop in the sleeping bag, and call it a night. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to show you all how I set this up, and that's because there's simply not enough space in here. It's a tight fit for sure. But I have my DOD outdoor pad mattress here, very thick, highly insulated. On top of that, I have the Corinthia sleeping bag, rated for around 0 degrees. I'm going to call it a night. I will see you all in the morning. Bye for now. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Time-wise, it is now 8 o'clock. I slept great last night. While you all really can't see it, the DOD Outdoors sleeping pad, well, it's more of like an air mattress, foam mattress thing. It is amazing. It is super comfortable. At the same time, it's pretty expensive. But yeah, so far, that thing is pretty damn awesome. It was really nice to have it inside of the truck here because it's so thick, it prevented the cold from like coming up through it. So I stayed like super warm last night. It looks like it snowed. A nice little dusting out there. Not bad for like the first snow for us. It's a good taste of winter here in October. It's cold, it's windy, and there's a little bit of snow on the ground. So it's a good morning. Talking about another excellent piece of kit, the cell phone booster works incredibly well. I've had an excellent connection the entire time, so that's not bad. coffee has been made. Cheers. What I did there was just warm up the cowboy coffee that I made yesterday. I added just a little bit of water to it. I didn't drink all that much, so let's see how it is. Smells good. Is good. Oh yeah. One thing that Susie and I have been thinking about since the kids are out of the house now is that we don't have to stay in our area. We can now go and stay in other areas. So we thought about maybe like renting a house for a month in like Colorado or Wyoming or Idaho. That way we can have some really, really different experiences that we could share with you all. For an example, we could rent a house in a really snowy area, and then we could do all sorts of crazy snow camps. Because here in the Southeast, we get a lot of snow. Well, I should say, we get more snow than everyone else in the Southeast, but it definitely doesn't compare to like other areas out west and so on and further north. We've been thinking about that. That would be interesting. Comment down below and share your thoughts. What do you all think about that idea? Would you all like to see some snow adventures, maybe in Wyoming, Idaho, something like that? Please share. As far as breakfast goes, I'm going to skip it this morning. I don't feel like it. I do have some bars and whatnot inside of the pack here, but it's about 8 o'clock. I'm okay. I don't want to wake up and then instantly eat. I'll wake up and instantly drink coffee, but that's about it. I think what I'm going to do is get everything situated back here, and then we'll hit the road. We'll see what it's like. Woo. It is beautiful up here. Just enough snow to kind of dust the ground. That's about it. When I fired up the truck, did you hear a rattle? I did. That is one of the protective heat shields underneath. It's rattling. It's funny. I just fixed that on my son's 4Runner as well. So whenever it warms up just a little bit, I'll crawl under there and fix it. All right. So here we go. Try not to fall in it. Let's head back to the truck. Let's see what the temp is outside. Let's go home. This trip was exactly what I needed. I needed a dose of reality. It's easy to forget what winter's really like. Winter is cold and windy. That wind being the worst part. Let's see. The truck says 23 degrees Fahrenheit, and that sounds about right. It really doesn't feel any colder now than it did yesterday. The only difference is that it's a little bit more breezy up here. So it shows low air pressure in one of the tires, which makes sense because it's so cold. Let's go ahead and address that now. Let's see. This is the one. Usually I keep the tires around 42 PSI. That way it's not too soft and not too hard. you all so much for joining me for this trip. It has been a good one. I will see you all next week with the reviews and the next adventure. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the thumbs up because it does help the channel. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Oh yeah. Wolfpack, I'm sounding off. Strength and honor. Bye for now.